Attention ministry leaders. Have you ever considered growing your ministry with television? Well, the Daily Gospel Network could be what you've been looking for. As one of the nation's largest Christian broadcasting companies, the Daily Gospel Network broadcasts all over the world on popular streaming platforms like Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. If you're looking to grow and reach more people, the Daily Gospel Network could be your solution.
Looking for inspiration, motivation, and the good news of Jesus Christ? Look no further. The Daily Gospel Network has what you need. With more than 300 ministries from all over the country broadcasting every week, you're sure to get your dose of spirit-filled encouragement from the great programs on the Daily Gospel Network. Catch the Daily Gospel Network on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, all mobile devices, and the internet.
Get ready for Purpose Today with Dr. April Dobson. Ignite your spirit and fuel your passion for life with inspiring stories, empowering guests, and transformative ideas. Whether you're pursuing dreams, overcoming challenges, or seeking a spark of positivity, you're in the right place. Together, we'll explore resilience, creativity, and our limitless potential. So sit back and prepare to be inspired. Let's unlock incredible possibilities on Purpose Today with Dr. April Dobson.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Purpose Today. I'm your host, Dr. April Dobson, and I'm very excited to introduce a very special guest today, Michelle Davis. She is the CEO and founder of MVD Consulting. You don't want to miss this episode. We'll be back after this commercial.
Looking for inspiration, motivation, and the good news of Jesus Christ? Look no further. The Daily Gospel Network has what you need. With more than 300 ministries from all over the country broadcasting every week, you're sure to get your dose of spirit-filled encouragement from the great programs on the Daily Gospel Network. Catch the Daily Gospel Network on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, all mobile devices, and the internet.
Welcome back to Purpose Today. I am excited to welcome our very special guest to the show, Michelle Davis. Welcome to the show.
Hi there, Dr. Dobson. So happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome, and thank you so much for being on the show today. It's a pleasure to have you here. I know that our viewers are probably wondering more information about you, so could you just share a little bit about yourself with our viewers?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you said, I'm the founder and CEO of MVD Consulting Inc. I really see myself as a workplace diversity, equity, and inclusion consultant. So I help nonprofit organizations and businesses create workplaces that are healthy, happy, equitable, just, and thriving. And we do that through a number of our services, including our fractional chief DEI officer service, our workplace DEI audits, professional training, as well as research and evaluation. I've been leading this company for the past 3 years, but I have a longer career in this area. I'm based in Toronto in Canada. I really enjoy the work that I do. I get to work with, different organizations, different people, and really help them to lead into and own this area of work. And really, for people who are really deeply committed to the work, supporting them on their DEI journey.
That is awesome. And I think it's amazing what you're doing. And I know you shared that you're in Toronto and you love what you do and you've been doing this for quite some time. And so just give us a little bit of insight, because I know there may be some viewers who are wondering, oh, you're in Toronto and I'm in California. So what about your clients? Do you have clients solely in Canada, or do you have clients all over the world?
Mainly in Canada are my clients, but I've done work in the Caribbean, and I'm hoping to branch out into the US as well.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing. And I know you and I have talked. We had an opportunity to, get to know a little bit about each other, and I've heard about your career path. But our viewers aren't aware of the interesting journey that you had that caused you to pivot professionally prior to launching your own business. So, can you share some insight regarding your experience with our viewers and what led you to pivot?
Mhm. So my career, I've done a number of different things. I've, had not a very straight career path. So I studied human biology. I did pre-med, and then decided to go, instead of going to medical school, I decided to go overseas to work. So I went on a 6-month international internship program. I ended up spending 5 months studying and working in the Caribbean on a number of really interesting projects, whether they were funded by the World Bank or the Commonwealth Secretariat or the Canadian government. It was really an opportunity for me to develop my love for research. So after 5 years, I moved back to Toronto, worked in a number of different sectors, including community health, worked on women's health research. I worked with our legal aid in Ontario, managed a project looking at survivors of domestic violence. I also worked in education, higher education, as well as K-12 education. So in all of these different spheres, in all of these different kind of sectors, I was always approaching the work from an equity and inclusion perspective. So doing a lot of anti-racism work before it was, kind of the thing to do, when there was a lot more resistance to the work. So a few years ago, I was in a job with the government, not quite in in a slightly different um, vein of work, let's say, or lane of work. But like many people in the fall of 2020, I started thinking, this isn't really what I've been led to, what I want to be doing. I thought, as a little girl when I was growing up, I did not envision that I'd be in the position that I was doing or doing the work that I was doing. So I decided to put together a plan to exit that very comfortable job, great salary, great benefits, but decided that I needed to go and work on my own. I had been consulting part-time for a couple of years on and off, but I decided to really lean in and focus on that. So I decided December 2021, I was going to be ready to launch full-time into my business. And so by December 10th, that was my last day, and I haven't looked back since.
That's awesome. You said something earlier, and I kind of want to take a little bit of time to unpack it because I know there's probably a lot of people who are watching from around the world who sort of had the experience that you had, that they had, varied experiences from, a professional, background. And you talked about, your experience in education and, just the different sectors that you, worked in. And I know you said that for you, you gravitated to the diversity, equity, inclusion. You looked at it from a lens. But again, these were all various, careers that were not really interrelated. So did you face any challenges when you were trying to decide, what to do, or did you just have this internal desire to pursue diversity, equity, and inclusion? What was your approach? How did you decide?
So even though, I liked your observation that, it sounded like everything was very disconnected. However, I think the thread that connected the various roles that I had was social justice. So really ensuring that people had access to the resources that they need to create the lives that they deserve to have. So diversity, equity, inclusion is an important aspect of social justice work. And so when I decided that I wanted to go on my own and wanted to do work that I found a lot more meaningful, a lot more impactful, diversity, equity, and inclusion was the easy sector for me to want to move into, because again, I spent the previous 15 years doing this work and enjoying it and being really passionate about it as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, one of the other things that you talked about making the transition in December of 21, and you talked about having, business efforts that you were engaging in part time prior to, taking the leap to do it full time. Um, was there a internal conflict to go from doing something that you were doing part-time from a full-time business in a full-time industry, and how did you overcome any internal conflict that you faced during that time?
So, as I said, I took a year to plan. So, I made sure that I, beefed up, increased my savings, and I paid off debt. I paid off my car loan. I researched, health benefits. So I really put together a plan that I wasn't just taking a leap of faith. And in many ways I was, but that I had done some preparation.
That's good.
However, in about October, I said, okay, when I sign my next client, my next contract, I will be ready to go. And so I started kind of, having some doubts about that, starting to feel really impatient. Saying like, God, when is this going to happen? Am I going to have to, stay beyond December? That I learned in that moment that I needed to be like a farmer, where you plant the seeds and you just wait for that crop to come in. And, the rain is going to be sent, the sunshine is going to be sent, the seeds are going to germinate, and a harvest will come. But you have to be patient and you have to do the waiting. That's an important part of the process. So I was able in November to sign that next contract, and then I was ready. I didn't have any more doubts at that point. I was ready to move.
That's awesome. And I really appreciate you sharing that story and just being transparent. And I heard you say something. You said both preparation and faith really had to like merge. You had to plan, so to some extent you had to be prepared, but then, to another extent you had to just take the leap of, faith. How important do you think it is when people think about pursuing their purpose and doing what they love? How important do you think it is for people to pair preparation and faith together?
For me, that is why I'm able to still be in business, to still have my doors open because of that partnership. We want to do work that we're called to do, that we, as the name of your show says, being on purpose. But a lot of that requires that marriage of faith and preparation, right? So we know that faith without works. So
It's
we
good.
have to show up too, right? We
Right.
don't just sit back and wait. So for me, it was, putting together that plan, having that, uh, that clear idea of what's going to happen next, so that I wouldn't have the anxiety. I wouldn't feel uncomfortable. I would be able to move in confidence that this is what I'm supposed to be doing next. So that often helps me. And, plus being a scientist, having that plan, doing the research, having the details also helps me as well. So the preparation plus the faith, really, really important. And that's how I continue to operate my company, is that prayer plus the preparation, ensures that I have that firm foundation.
That's awesome. I love that. And I think, that gives us, a great, expectation, that we expect, we pray, we prepare, we have faith, and we move forward. So I think that's awesome. And you said something else that stood out to me as well. You said you knew this is what you needed to do. And I think sometimes people ignore the desires that they have in knowing that this is what I should be doing. And so I think for people, whenever they're in a situation and they're not quite clear, of course, they can always, pray to get that clarity. But at some point, you have to be willing to take the leap and take the faith to do what it is that you know your purpose to do and the desire that you have in your heart. So that's amazing. So, can you share why you love what you do and what is the most rewarding aspect of what you do?
So I really love the flexibility and the independence that working for myself gives me. So I get to choose my clients. I get to choose my, my opening hours, my closing hours when I take vacation. So I like that flexibility. But I also enjoy the projects that I get to work on. So when I work with a client, I'm working with businesses and organizations, I get to know the leadership and I get to know the staff and I get to understand what are some of the challenges that they're facing. And I get to get my brain working on how can I help them overcome those challenges. I really enjoy organizations. So my ideal client are not folks who are just kind of at that beginning stage. They're doing that, equity 101. I want the folks who've already done that and who are ready to go further and ready to go deeper. So when I get to find those clients and get to work with those folks, it just feels like, yeah, I'm just happy. I'm just super happy because it's, people who have done the work, who have, laid a bit of groundwork and who are ready to push forward. Because I think we're living in an age where there is an expectation that organizations are equitable, that they are just. That comes from staff. The millennial generation, they certainly have those expectations. I think many equity deserving communities also expect that. Expectation can come from investors, it can come from shareholders. So really organizations, again, those who are deeply committed to it, there are those who aren't, and that's okay. But the ones who are deeply committed to it because it's part of their core operation, it's part of their mission or their vision or mandate, those are really the folks that I really enjoy working with.
That's awesome. And I really appreciate you sharing the insight on the types of clients who are ideal for you. I think that's important when you're thinking about a partnership, because it is that. It's a partnership when you have clients who are utilizing your services and you're partnering with them to ensure that they're able to go from where they are to the next level. And so how do you help clients through MVD Consulting Incorporated?
That's exactly what you just said, April. I just feel like, we just understand each other so well. Exactly what you just said. I take organizations from where they are currently to where it is that they want to be. So I'll go in and kind of take a snapshot, looking at where they are, looking at what they've done to date, and really helping them to decide or determine where it is that they want to go. So what are their long-term goals when it comes to equity and inclusion? And then I'm going to help them map out how they're going to get there. So I'll do a number of things. So it might be an audit looking at, what are some of their operations? What does their human resources look like? What does the staffing component look like? Does it reflect the diversity of the communities and clients that they serve, including leadership? So not just frontline or entry level, but who's getting promoted in the organization? Who's leaving because maybe they're frustrated? Let's look at what's happening. Look at your exit interview, some of that data. And so looking at a lot of the data that an organization collects, because sometimes people are collecting a lot of data, but they're not looking at it, and determining the story that data tells of their workplace and their organizational culture, and seeing what improvements need to be made to, again, get them to that goal, that longer term goal that they want to do. So that might include staff training as well, a bit of evaluation, a bit of research, maybe designing assessment tools, setting up staff committees, employee resource groups, or it might be a larger equity advisory group that includes, persons internal to the organization as well as perhaps some expert folks who are external to the organization as well. So putting together a committee that's going to advise the leadership in terms of, where it is that they're going and how best they can get there. Because often people do want to support and help. So providing some opportunities for people to do that.
That's awesome. So if there are leaders, individuals, managers, people within organizations in the US, the Caribbean, and Canada, or anywhere, around the world, because you're expanding your market, what would they need to do? What's the first step that they would need to do to either learn more or to partner with you to obtain services?
Yeah, so absolutely, they could reach out on my website, mvdconsulting.ca. and there's a contact us form. They can also reach out by telephone or via email. We're also on LinkedIn. So whichever method people, is easiest for folks, you can find us. We'd be happy to chat with you, find out, set up a meeting, figure out what it is, what are your needs, what you've done to date. And again, trying to identify where it is that you'd like to go with the organization.
That's fantastic. So I know that there's, quite a few things that we talked about and that we've unpacked today, but maybe there's something that we haven't talked about that you would love for our viewers to know. So is there anything else that you'd like to share about MVD Consulting Inc. that you haven't shared yet that you would like to share?
Just like to remind people that, sometimes my clients are a bit hesitant, they're a bit uncertain, they are unsure, they don't want to make a mistake. That I tell them, it's okay. We're going to figure it out. I do a bit of coaching, helping them to be bold and to take up the work and own the work. And I love to see that transformation within the leaders within an organization when they move from being timid or uncertain to where they're moving with boldness and confidence. So that's something that I think people need to understand is that, yeah, you don't have to have everything figured out. That's why you bring me and my team on. We're going to help you. We're going to support you through the journey. The second thing I want to also let your viewers know is that this work is long term, right? Inequity didn't just happen overnight. So
Right.
equity and justice is not similarly going to happen overnight. So remember that you're doing this work for a long term. It requires a longer term commitment than sometimes other projects or other work that you may take on. So ensure that you are committed. Sometimes people are feeling a bit overwhelmed, and it's okay. We're not going to come and add a lot of work onto people's plates because, people already have jobs and have commitments. Again, we're going to look at how we can do this over a longer term so that it's manageable and that you can be successful.
That's awesome. I love that. And then is there anything about you individually that you haven't shared with our viewers that you would like for them to know?
Just that, yeah, that I really enjoy this work. I bring a lot of joy to this work. I know it can often feel very serious. Sometimes there's a lot of negative feelings. However, I approach it in a way that I want to invite people into the work. I want you to come and experience equity and justice. And so I create spaces for people to come into this work, whether you're from an equity deserving group or from a majority group. We all have a responsibility and a role to ensure that workplaces are healthy, happy, thriving, and just. So my approach is a little bit different, but because I enjoy the work and I enjoy the people that I work with, I'm able to smile a lot, bring a lot of laughter to the work that I do with my clients.
That's awesome. And so I know you talked a little bit about the website, and it's still on the screen because I wanted to ensure that viewers had an opportunity to view your website, connect with you, see the services that are available there, access the contact form. But I also want to give an opportunity for viewers who want to specifically contact you. So if you don't mind sharing again the best way for viewers to contact you.
Absolutely. So via email, my first name, Michelle at mvdconsulting.ca, or via telephone, 647-954-0311. We would be super, super happy to speak with you. And yeah, just to see how we can best support you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much, Michelle. It has been such an honor and a pleasure to have you here on Purpose Today. And thank you to all of our viewers who were watching. Again, if you'd like to reach out to Michelle, I have the website there, www.mvdconsulting.ca. And we have the email and the phone number if you want to reach out to Michelle directly at michelle@mvdconsulting.ca. And the phone number is also there. So I know, Michelle, you're going to go backstage from the studio and we're going to take a commercial break. And so I want you all to stay right there and we'll be right back right after this commercial break. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dobson.
You're welcome.
Looking for inspiration, motivation, and the good news of Jesus Christ? Look no further. The Daily Gospel Network has what you need. With more than 300 ministries from all over the country broadcasting every week, you're sure to get your dose of spirit-filled encouragement from the great programs on the Daily Gospel Network. Catch the Daily Gospel Network on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, all mobile devices, and the internet.
Welcome back to Purpose Today, and thank you so much for tuning in. What an amazing, amazing, amazing interview with Michelle Davis of MVD Consulting Inc. And I thank you all again for tuning in today. I do appreciate all of you who are tuning in. I do want to just take a moment for anyone who is watching the show today. If you feel that you need to pivot, but you don't know how, I encourage you to email us at admin@purposetoday.com. Michelle, when she was sharing her story, shared a little bit about how she had various industries that she worked in before pivoting to fully launch her business full time and doing what she loved. And I know there may be some of you who are doing something professionally that you don't enjoy, that doesn't really speak to your soul, that is not aligned with your purpose. And I encourage you to really take the time to explore what you're desiring, explore your purpose, and, a plan to be able to transition to pursue your purpose. So if you feel that you need to pivot and you don't know how, we would love to help you here at Purpose Today to evaluate where you are, evaluate the skills that you have, look at what you desire, look at what you love, and help you to transition into a business or a career that you love. So I encourage you to send us an email at admin@purposetoday.com. You can also go to purposetoday.com, and we would love to hear from you. So please write in your story. Let us know your situation. Let us know what's going on so that we can help you to pivot professionally, and we can help you to live a purpose-filled life today and every day. So thank you again for tuning in. And we invite you to tune in next week at 7 a.m. Eastern Time for another power-packed episode of Purpose Today with Dr. April Dobson. Thank you, and have an amazing week.
Attention ministry leaders. Have you ever considered growing your ministry with television? Well, the Daily Gospel Network could be what you've been looking for. As one of the nation's largest Christian broadcasting companies, the Daily Gospel Network broadcasts all over the world on popular streaming platforms like Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. If you're looking to grow and reach more people, the Daily Gospel Network could be your solution.
Looking for inspiration, motivation, and the good news of Jesus Christ? Look no further. The Daily Gospel Network has what you need. With more than 300 ministries from all over the country broadcasting every week, you're sure to get your dose of spirit-filled encouragement from the great programs on the Daily Gospel Network. Catch the Daily Gospel Network on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, all mobile devices, and the internet.
Thank you for tuning in to Purpose Today with Dr. April Dobson. Our mission is to ignite your spirit and fuel your passion for life. Join us next time for more inspiring stories, empowering guests, and transformative ideas that uplift and motivate. Whether you're chasing dreams, facing challenges, or just seeking a spark of positivity, we're here to inspire you. Together, we'll explore resilience, creativity, and the limitless potential within us all. So, until next time, stay inspired from your friends at Purpose Today with Dr. April Dobson.